All right, welcome to our second of 12 weeks of our core posture strengthening with yoga and just things I've learned along the way. Um, each week, I'm hoping, is progressively a little bit more challenging, um, leading to, a really good situation for our posture and our strength and longevity. Ideally, you're doing this maybe 3 to 4 times a week to get really good results. Four, if you're really keen. And as always, sensation is good, pain is not good. So if you're feeling pain, you got to stop because that's not what we're going for. Uh, I don't want anybody injured. It's the ego generally that pushes us, but not always. So just keep yourself safe. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's get started. So go ahead and lay back down. I'm going to help us get familiar with our bodies, that internal experience, so that we are able to tap in to that internal strength. So let's go ahead, close your eyes, soften your face, soften your head and your neck and shoulders, your arms and hands, your torso, noticing if you're tensing any muscles up along the way and relaxing them. Sensing your thighs and your legs and feet and relaxing them. Sensing gravity holding you there on your mat. Good. All right, let's go ahead and bring all of our focus into our thumbs. Just your thumbs. As if your life depended on it. If you can't sense your thumbs, try to sense the space that your thumbs are in. And then our index fingers. And our middle fingers. And our ring fingers. And our baby fingers. Go ahead and sense all of your fingers and thumbs at the same time. Sensing the palms of our hands. And the back of our hands. And our wrists. Sensing our wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs all at the same time. Good. Coming to the inside of the wrists. And moving upwards into the bellies of the forearms. And then sensing the inside of our elbows. Good. Sensing the back of our wrists. And the backside of our forearms. all the way to our elbows. Sensing our elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs all at the same time. Good. Let's sense the front of our upper arms in that bicep area. And the back of our upper arms in the tricep area. Coming into our shoulder sockets. Sensing the shoulder sockets, the front and back of the upper arm, the forearms and elbows, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs, all at the same time. Sensing the tops of our shoulders. And our shoulder blades. Sensing the shoulder blades, tops of the shoulders, shoulder socket, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs, all at the same time. Good. All right. I'm gonna just get down on the mat with you guys. Okay, we just coordinated some of our body to expect an internal experience. Let's get our breath going. We call this the Infinity 5. So let's start with pacing our breath. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Nice smooth transitions in between the exhale and inhale, and the inhale to the exhale. One seamless action, that infinity symbol, the Infinity 5. Once you've got your pace going, we're going to start to deepen the breath. So cool air enters the nostrils to the back of the mouth, runs down the windpipe. As we exhale, warm air runs up the windpipe to the back of the mouth and out the nostrils. Keep pacing it. Keep that count going in your head as if your life depended on it. Okay, let's take a deeper, Cool air enters the nostrils to the back of the mouth, runs down the windpipe into the chest cavity, feeling it against the chest bone, collarbones, the spine, the shoulder blades, the upper rib walls. As we exhale, the chest cavity eases, warm air runs up the windpipe to the back of the mouth and out your nostrils. Let's take it deeper. Cool air enters the nostrils to the back of the mouth, runs down the windpipe into the chest cavity. Don't forget the spine and shoulder blades. And now the rest of the rib cage and the lobes of the lungs. As we exhale, the lungs, ribs, chest, shoulders all relax. Warm air runs up the windpipe to the back of the mouth and out the nostrils. Cool air enters the nostrils to the back of the mouth, runs down the windpipe into the chest cavity, lungs and ribs. Don't forget the spine, and now into the belly. As we exhale, the belly eases, lungs, ribs, chest, shoulders all relax. Warm air runs up the windpipe to the back of the mouth and out the nostrils. Let's take 5 more really nice ones. Good. All right. We're not always going to have time to count out those numbers in our brains. And we're not always going to have time to breathe deeply into our bodies. But we're keeping the pace. And the most important thing is we don't stop breathing. Okay? Good. Let's go ahead and bend the knees so the feet are on the mat below the hips. Push the low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest. Nice rocking in circles. Go ahead, massage that low back into the floor. Good. All right. let's bring our feet back down to the mat, below the hips. Hip width apart, palms facing down. Okay, good. Let's push that low back into the floor. Bring the pubic bone and base the ribs towards each other, flexing that stomach. Flex, flex, flex the stomach. Wake it up. Hello. Flexing the stomach. Pubic bone, base the ribs towards each other. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach. Pubic bone, tucking forward and up. Let's lift our bodies, our shoulders up. Retract those shoulder blades. In and down, chin into the throat, base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tucking that tailbone forward and up, retracting those shoulder blades, chin into the throat, base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tuck that tailbone forward and up. Lots of things going on, still breathing. And then very slowly, we'll start to lower ourselves back down. Good. Hands by our sides, palms down. Good. All right. Let's come into our bridge. Let's lift our hips up. Good. So those knees stacked stacked above the heels if possible. Good. Okay, it's not enough just to come into this position. Let's go ahead and engage the glutes. The function of the glutes, one of them is to extend the femur bone back. So push those knees into the heels into the floor. Flexing those glutes. Flex, flex, flex the glutes. Good. Keep pushing those knees down into the floor. Push that right one harder. And then the left one harder. Good. Squeeze those bums. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then let's start to peel our spine back down. Backbone by backbone. Good. Push that low back into the floor. Knees to the chest. Chin to the chest. Nice. Good. Self-hug, rocking. Good. All right. Let's go ahead. Bring our feet back down to the mat. Below the hips. Itchy nose. Okay. Feet hip width apart. Back of the neck is long. Hands by our sides. Palms down. Let's go ahead. Push that low back into the floor. Pubic bone. Base the ribs towards each other. Flexing that stomach wall. Flex, flex, flex. Find that abdominal wall. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Base the ribs, pubic bone. Flexing the stomach. Tucking that tailbone forward and up. Good. Lots of strength. Let's lift up our shoulders from our abs. Base the ribs, pubic bone. Flex that stomach. Keep tucking that tailbone forward and up. Chin into the throat. Retract the shoulder blades in and down. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tuck that tailbone forward and up, retract those shoulder blades, chin into the throat, breathing, base the ribs, pubic bone, flex that stomach, good, and slowly lower ourselves back down. Good, hands by our sides, palms down. Good, let's draw those hips right up. All right, keep remembering, this is about the bums, okay? Squeeze the bum, push the knees into the heels into the floor, flexing the glutes, push those knees down, heels into the floor, flex, flex, flex. Good. This is so important. We need strong glutes. We need abs, we need glutes, we need deep neck flexors, we need upper back strength. Often, all of those for our posture. I mean, we need a lot more, but those ones mainly. Keep bringing those hips up, push those knees down into the heels into the floor. Good, let's peel that spine back down. Backbone by backbone. Good. Push that low back into the floor, knees to chest, chin to chest, rocking. Good. Massage that low back into the floor. If you're like me, you have a sore low back most of the time. All right. And that's from often weak core. I mean, it can be many things, but a lot of the time it's weak core. Okay, let's bring our feet back down to the mat. Below the hips, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Feet hip width apart. Okay, let's push that low back into the floor. base of the ribs, pubic bone, those two bony landmarks coming closer towards each other as we flex the stomach, flex the stomach. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Pubic bone, base of the ribs towards each other, flexing the stomach, tucking the tailbone. Good. Let's lift up our shoulders and our head. Retract the shoulder blades towards each other. Base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tuck that tailbone forward and up, retracting the shoulder blades, tucking the chin into the throat by way of the muscle underneath of the thyroid cartilage, the Adam's apple. Good. Flexing, base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tucking the tailbone, retracting the shoulder blades, chin into the throat. Good. And slowly come out of it. Good. Hands by our sides, palms down. Let's lift our hips up into our bridge. Good. All right. Flex the glutes, squeeze the bum, push the knees into the heels, heels into the floor. Push that right one harder and then the left one. Your hips will become higher the more you engage your glutes and push those knees down. Flex, squeeze the bum, squeeze. Keep pushing those knees down. Breathing, and slowly start to peel that spine back down, backbone by backbone. Good. Push that low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest, rocking. Good. Excellent. All right, we've got one more round of these. So let's bring our feet back down to the mat below the hips, hip width apart. Back of the neck is long, chin slightly tucked, hands by our sides, palms down. Good. All right, let's push the low back into the floor. Pull the pubic bone, base ribs towards each other. Flex that stomach. Flex. Flexing the stomach. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flex the stomach, tuck that tailbone forward and up. Let's lift our head and shoulders. Retract those shoulder blades in and down. Chin into the throat by way of that deep neck flexor under the thyroid cartilage. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flex that stomach, tuck that tailbone forward and up. Retracting those shoulder blades, chin into the throat, breathing. Almost there, flex that stomach. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flex, tuck that tailbone forward and up, chin into the throat, retracting the shoulders, and slowly lowering back down. Good. Hands by our sides, palms down. Good. Lift those hips up. Good. All right. Squeeze the bum. Push those knees down into the heels, heels into the floor. Squeeze the bum. Use the bum to pull the knees downwards into the heels, heels into the floor. Squeezing the bum. Pull those knees down, heels into the floor. Push. Or I guess pull, whatever. Strengthening those muscles. Almost there. Push that right knee down harder. And then that left knee down harder. Squeeze the bum and peel the spine back down. Backbone by backbone. Good. Let's push that low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest. Nice big hug. Good job. That was 4 of those. Those aren't easy. All right. We are going to do our side abs, progressively working towards plank, but we've got a long way to go. All right, let's go ahead, get your block. Rest your head onto the floor, your body in between 2 panes of glass, your feet down to the bottom of the mat, your left hand on the floor in front of you, right hand palm facing down. Okay, I am gonna use that left hand when I'm in the pose to make sure I'm using the muscles I want. I think that that's a great idea for anybody. So let's go ahead and bring up the feet and knees. Okay, we're side bowing them. We're using the abdominals. Flex your stomach. Get these side abs going. Flexing the stomach. Make sure it's going. Yep, base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach. Side abs. Good, and lower. Good, and again, bring those feet up. All right, engage that abdominal wall, the side abs, abs, side abs, base ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, and lowering back down. Good, one more time. Draw those feet, knees up. Make sure we're flexing our stomach, base ribs, pubic bone, side abs, yep. Making sure, okay, that's good. And lower down slowly. Excellent. Let's switch sides with a little water break. Okay. Okay, that left hand, palm facing down, right hand in the floor in front of you. Your body's in between two panes of glass. Good. All right. Let's lift up those feet, knees up off the floor. You might even lift up your head. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, but we have to make sure, yep, are our abs working? Yes. Are our side abs? Yes, I can feel that. They're hard and engaged. Good, and lower it down. Good. And lifting up again. Go ahead, engage that abdominal wall. Side abs, front abs, side abs. Good, and lowering down. Good. One more time. Bring them up. Flexing that stomach. Side abs. Yep, I've got them going. Good. All right, and slowly lower down. Very nice. Good. All right, let's push ourselves up to seated. Up on a block. Okay, again, as I mentioned last week, we sit up on a block so that we don't end up using our hip flexors, but we do want to use our abs to protect our low back because it's very easy but that's not why we're here, of course. Okay, so the abs engaged. Go ahead, decompress the spine. All right, we did those external rotators last time, and we're gonna do them again today. We're gonna do 5 of them, and let's know better. Oh, wait, one thing we'll do before that. Let's get that right shoulder going in circles. And then that left shoulder. And both shoulders in your shimmies and circles, teeter-totter. There we go. They're the fabric that holds us together, the myofascial connective tissue. It holds us all together, but it can get really tight. This is really good for getting rid of any stuck parts. Good. Okay. Abs. Decompress the spine. Good. Okay, let's go ahead. Grab the bar, exhale, retract those shoulder blades inwards and down your back. Squeeze those shoulder blades in and down. Elbows super glued to the sides. Pop open the hands. Good. Inhale, open the door. Make sure you've got your abdominals in between the shoulder blades, even on top of the shoulder blades. Back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Good. Exhale, close it up. Inhale, put the bar back. Good. Exhale, pull the bar in. Retract those shoulder blades. Decompress the spine, abs. Pop open the hands. Externally rotate the elbows. And up, and arms. Exhale, close. Inhale, put it back. Good. Exhale, pull those shoulder blades in and down your back, flexing the stomach, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked, breathing. When you feel like you've got it there, pop open the hands. Good. All right, inhale, open the doors. Feel the back of the shoulder blades. Feel the shoulder blade muscles. Exhale, close it up. Inhale, put the bar back. We've got 2 left. Exhale, pull it in. Retract those shoulder blades in and down. Pop open the hands. Hold that tension in the upper back, abs, back of the neck long. Open the doors. Exhale, close the doors. Inhale, put the bar back. Good. One last one. Exhale, pull the shoulder blades in and down, flexing the stomach, back of the neck long. Good. Super glued, elbows to the sides, pop open the hands. Inhale, open the doors. Exhale, close the doors. Inhale, put that bar back. Good. All right, some shoulders and shimmies. Yes, that's intense, isn't it? But if you're sitting at a computer all day, you gotta do something. You can't just be like this. We gotta work it. Well, I mean, you can do that if you want, but I don't want to stand over a walker one day if I don't have to. All right, let's come to our table pose. Okay. So let's set the table. Not for dinner, but for something very exciting. Knees hip width apart, stacked below the hips. Hands shoulder width apart. Good. Lower yourself into your shoulders. Back of the neck is long. Good. Let's turn our heads to the right and to the left. To the right and to the left. Once more to the right. Once more to the left. Coming back to center. Inhale to press the spine, chin and tailbone come up. Exhale, lead with that tailbone, backbone by backbone, arch that spine. Oh, that feels good. Inhale to press. Exhale, lead with that tailbone, backbone by backbone, arching the spine. Hold it there. Oh. Inhale to press. Exhale, lead with that tailbone, backbone by backbone, arching that spine, holding it there. Good. Come on, back down to your table. Excellent. All right, we're gonna walk ourselves so that we're at the top of our mat. Reconnect with your table pose. Make sure it's proper. Pull up my pants. Okay. Good. Okay, we are getting ready for some modified side plank situation going on over here, okay? So let's make sure that that left hand is secure with a nice big bend in that left elbow. Okay, good. Let's go ahead, find your abdominal wall, flexing your stomach, base through pubic bone, flex that stomach. Let's bring that right foot flat behind that left foot. Good. Once you've got that there, if you feel like you're working your core and you feel like you're good to go further, then go ahead and open up, bring that right hand onto the tummy. Okay? Keep finding the abdominal wall. Are you flexing your stomach? Are you holding yourself very secure? Good. If you are, then let's reach that right hand to the ceiling. Look past that hand. Good. Good. Let's shift the weight a little bit. Make sure we're using our abdominals. If you'd like, you can bring that right foot just an inch up off the floor. Breathing, flexing your stomach. Breathing. Make sure we are using our core, not just being in the position. Good. Let's lower that foot. Let's bring that right hand back to the tummy and find ourselves back to our tables. Good. Awesome. Let's tuck those toes under. Lift those knees up. Downward dog. Okay. Relax the head. We're pushing our hips to the back of the room. Relax the back of your legs. Relax your head. You're pushing your hips back. Good. Let's go ahead and find our standing forward fold. Okay. Good. Equal. We are using all the parts of our feet, the toes, the balls, the arches, the heels. We're not just using one more than the other. Relax your head. Relax the back of your legs. If you get lightheaded, you just sit down. All right, I'm gonna just come off my mat so that none of my body is cut off. I want to show you a chair pose. Let's make nice big macro bends in those knees. Let's find our chair pose. Good. You gotta use your thigh muscles. Cannot stick out our caboose. We need to engage our abs. So base ribs, pubic bone, flexing that stomach, shoulder blades retracted, in and down, chin into the throat, breathing, thighs engaged, abdominals engaged, shoulder blade muscles, chin into the throat, breathing. Chair pose creates lots of heat. Good, and folding back forward. All right, let's walk ourselves back to our downward dogs. Relax the head, relax the back of the legs. You're pushing your hips to the back of the room. Sensation, not pain, of course. Good. Let's come back to table. And then come all the way down to our bellies. Slowly, carefully, with cactus arms. Forehead to the floor. Okay, let's retract those shoulder blades in and down your back. Holding it there. Good. Feel that sensation and relax. Retracting the shoulder blades in and down your back. Hold it there. Lots of strength. And relax. Retracting the shoulder blades in and down your back. Push into your hands. Found your cobra. Chin into the throat. Retracting the shoulder blades in and down. Breathing. This is an upper back strengthener. Good. Let's slowly lower ourselves back down. Good. Pushing the left hand and the left elbow into the floor with just 20%. Good. Feel the pec doing that work. Good. Let's push the right hand and the right elbow into the floor. Feel that right pec doing that work. Good. All right. Hands under our shoulders. I want you to engage your abdominal wall. Good. And we're thinking about our chest. And we're going to push ourselves up into table without collapsing our abdominals. Good. Excellent. Widen those knees, toes together, child's pose. All right, let's walk our hands and body off to the left. A nice baby banana. Good. Come on back to the center. Let's walk our hands and body off to the right. Let's walk ourselves back to the center. All right, come on back up to table. Okay, I'm just gonna turn around because we gotta do the other side of the obliques, the modified side plank. Okay, so those knees hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Good. Go ahead and make sure we're in the right position here. All right, nice bends in those elbows. Good. Secure the right hand into its place. Nice big bend in that right elbow. Okay, we're gonna think about our abdominal wall, and then we're gonna place our left foot flat behind the right foot. Okay, don't do anything further until you've made sure that your abdominals are engaged. You're flexing your stomach, base ribs, pubic bone. Good. Once you feel ready, you can bring that left hand onto your tummy. Good. Holding it there. Flex your stomach, base ribs, pubic bone. We're also thinking about those obliques on the side. Good. If you feel like you've got it, let's bring that left hand up to the ceiling. Look past it. You are in the eye of a storm because you're engaging your core. There's lots of things going on, lots of variables, but you are secure and stable because we're engaging our core. Let's shift our weight a little bit and lift up that left foot just an inch up off the floor, if possible. If not, don't worry about it. Abs, abs, abs though. Base ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, the side abs. Good, let's put that foot back down. Let's bring that left hand back to our tummies and then very slowly come back to our tables. All right, I'm just gonna switch sides again. All right, good. Tuck those toes under, lift those knees, downward dog. All right, push those hips back, relax the back of the legs, relax your head, breathing. Good, let's find ourselves our standing forward fold. Relax the back of the legs. Just hang out. Use all the parts of your feet. I'm just going to step off the mat so that none of me is cut off for what we're about to do. Big macro bend in those knees. Let's find our chair pose. All right. Good. Let's engage our thigh muscles. Flex the stomach, base ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, shoulders retracted, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Good, breathing. Thighs, abdominals, base ribs, pubic bone, flex that stomach, shoulder blades retracting, chin into the throat, breathing. Good, and fold back forward. All right, let's go ahead and walk ourselves back to our downward dog. And back to our tables. Down onto our bellies, cactus arms. Okay. Okay, we're gonna change it up a little bit. Keep making sure that these things are not coming too easily to us. Okay, let's go ahead and lift your elbows and hands equal heights up off the floor. Feel yourself using those muscles in between your shoulder blades to do it. Retracting those shoulder blades. Good. Take the bend out of the elbows. Down by your hips. Palms facing down. Shoulder blades retracting. Palms down. Good. Come on back up to your cactus arms. And slowly lower down. Good. All right. Let's lift up our feet and knees up off the floor together. And you're doing this from the bum, from the glutes. What's the function of the glutes? One of them is to extend the femur bone back. So you're using your glutes to lift those knees up off the floor. Good, and lower. Okay. Now go ahead and engage your abdominal wall, flexing the stomach. Pubic bone, base ribs towards each other. Flexing the stomach. Lift your head up off the floor. You're looking at the floor just right below you. We're not arching our heads looking at the front of the room. We're looking right below us. Keep that back of the neck long. Chin slightly tucked. From our abs and probably your glutes. Good. Slowly lower down. Okay. We're going to bring this all together. Only go as far as what works for you, of course. So let's flex the abdominal wall. Good. Feet and knees, elbows and hands, and our head. Abs, abs, abs. Shoulder blade muscles, glutes, chin into the throat. Abs, shoulder blade muscles, glutes, chin into the throat. Keep breathing, breathing. Abs, abs, abs. Flex that stomach, flex it. Bum, shoulder blade muscles, chin into the throat, and then slowly come out of it in a controlled way. Excellent, excellent job. Okay, let's put our hands under our shoulders. We're engaging our abs, and we're going to use our pecs, our chest muscles, and we're going to come up into our table pose without collapsing in our midsection. Excellent, good. Widen those knees, toes together, child's pose. We're very much on the descent here, so hang in there. Let's walk our hands and body off to the left. Good, let's walk ourselves back to the center. And then over to the right. We'll come on back to the center. All right, come on back up to your table. And let's find ourselves to our seats with our legs out in front. Point those toes towards your nose. Good. Nice long spine. Our abs engaged enough to protect our low back. Good. Not collapsing into that low back. Good. Let's bring our hands in front. Retract those shoulder blades. Back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Good. All right. We're going to lean back only as far as we can go to maintain the integrity of this position. When your head starts to jut forward, you're going too far. Okay? All right, let's start to lean back. Okay, good. Abs, abs, abs. Flex that stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone, chin into the throat, retract those shoulder blades. Breathing steady, keep pointing those toes towards the nose, retracting those shoulder blades, chin into the throat, breathing. Good, pubic bone, base of the ribs. We're gonna go for 3 more breaths here. Keep flexing the stomach, keep retracting the shoulder blades, chin into the throat. Good. All right, come on back up. Let's find ourselves to our backs. Have your block handy. Okay. Let's push our low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest. All the strengthening is done. Now we're gonna just relax. There's still the hardest pose of all coming up though. Good. All right. Let's go ahead, bring our feet back down to the mat below the hips. Let's go ahead, grab that block. All right, we're going for a supported bridge. Let's go ahead, lift the hips, slide it under there. Find your sweet spot on your sacrum and tailbone where you feel like that small of the low back is being opened up. All right. Back of the neck stays long. Let's go ahead and find our cactus arms. All right. Let's come back to those beautiful breaths, the infinity 5. Let's take 5 more of the finest breaths. Good. All right. Let's go ahead Gently lift your hips, take that block out. This is the hardest pose coming up. Let's peel our spine back down. Knees to chest, chin to chest. Don't shortchange your Shavasana. That's where the brain, the nervous system start to integrate what we've just done. And it's kind of a rebellious act to lie there for a few minutes and not actually do anything, and not busy ourselves, not check our devices, not engaging in things that rob our attention. Okay? It's 5 minutes. We've all got 5 minutes. Let's go ahead, find Shavasana. The time for shaping the breath and directing the thoughts is done. Just exist. If you fall asleep, don't worry about it. I'll get us all up in 5 minutes, okay? let's start to add some movement into the fingers and the toes, and the wrists and the ankles, elbows and knees. Good. Let's roll to the left side of our bodies. Pushing ourselves up using muscles, not momentum. Nice long spine. Decompress the spine, your abs gently engaged to protect your low back. Left hand to our heart, and our right hand on our left hand. May we understand the strength of our own self. Namaste. All right. I'll see you next week for week 3.